Hey, buddy.
What's going on? Why don't you go take a lounge in Bob's room?
Hey guys, welcome back to Bob's Room. I'm Joe, this is Aubrey, and tonight we are talking about Il Ceppo pipes. Chapo pipes are from Pesaro, Italy. They make some really excellent handmade pipes for us. The company was started by, let me look at my notes here, Giorgio Imperatori. And Imperatori got his start as an architect, so when you look at these pipes, a lot of the details as far as shape and construction and flow between the pieces really come out.
I think that's kind of cool too. The way where you say attention to detail comes in, you guys will see more of when we load up the video. It's almost like their pipes could be machine made because so much detail is applied to making the shapes exactly what they want them to be.
They really take some precision into that level of detail. So you're right, several of them look really similar, and you think, oh, well, that's got to be a machine-made pipe.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's not.
The other thing is, not only does it carry on to the shapes, but the attention to detail carries on to the stems, as we'll get into later. Almost everybody who has an Il Ceppo pipe buys more Il Ceppo pipes.
Yeah.
It's like the Victory motorcycle of pipes. Victory motorcycle still a thing?
I don't even know.
I think Indian, or they bought Indian and then...
We had this discussion the other day with a customer, and he explained to us whether it was Indian or Victory that got bought out, but I don't remember which one it was.
Not that important. What is important is that once you get one, that's all you want.
Yeah, Il Ceppo pipe's really great. And so, like I said, Imperatori started in 1978 making really practical, solidly produced pipes that were also affordable. So he had a focus toward not only applying those details, but making those pipes to be purchased by lots of people. So that they had
primary market being the USA.
Yeah, and workers and that sort of thing, so that they could have a really well-made pipe without having to shell out, Dunhill money.
Exactly. The carver that Il Ceppo is now known for is not Imperatori, but is known as Franco Rossi, which is another very big name in this industry.
Yes.
Franco Rossi has been known in several different iterations of Italian pipe making. He got his start in Mastro di Paja, which is where every good carver got their start in Italy.
Yeah, the location there that Il Ceppo is from, that Pesaro, is the Pesaro school of pipe making. So it's all of these guys you know.
So is that where Mastro di Paja was founded?
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because, every pipe carvers from Ser Jacopo started there. Pipe carvers from Castello started there. Every big name Italian started there. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting. But anyways, Franco Rossi started at Mastro di Paja, and then he went to Ser Jacopo. Mm-hmm. And then in 1995, he went to Il Ceppo and began to be the premier carver there, while his sister, Nadia Rossi, handled with some finishing work, as we're pretty used to seeing in the pipe industry.
Yeah, it's nice that these carvers can incorporate their whole families.
But yeah, so anyways, Franco Rossi is now the main carver, which everybody thinks of when they think of Il Ceppo. Yeah. He's the one who's making sure all these details are done right, and he's the main one who made this such a big pipe in the USA. Now you might be saying, well, why isn't this as big a pipe in Italy? And that goes back to a lot of things that Castello did back in the day, where they made it very hard for other big-name pipe carvers to sell their pipes in Italy.
Yeah, and there are also several collaboratives in Italy. So you get a couple of different companies together, mm-hmm. or different carvers together, different shops together, and they sort of band their energies and they can crowd out.
Yeah. And that's for whatever reason, it's very normal in the Italian pipe industry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of these pipes, man.
Was that it?
Their motto is precision in detail from quality Briar.
That's a boring motto. Okay, trivia question. What's Il Ceppo stand for?
Oh, I don't know. Rumor has it that it stands for chief, right?
So that's what a lot of people think, and which they should rightly so. We think about that with Chapo, which, Spanish, it's both Latin languages, but it actually translates roughly into the root or the stump, but root is most likely what it is.
Yeah, root would make most sense, right? Because that's where we get briar from. And,
exactly.
Yeah. All right, so first up is going to be a number 1 for Sandblast.
You got it.
All right, and I chose this one because it's a really unique shape, kind of an oblong ball looking thing, and his Sandblast is that's not do that.
Sick move. Pro smoker move. Put the hot ash on your crotch.
Yep, gonna have to edit that before we place her. And so sandblasting. Sandblasting is great. It's very smooth, so it's not the sort of jagged and craggy sandblast that you get on some. The ring grain here is really fantastic.
Their ring grain is really pretty. I think, so of companies that have amazing ring grains, Sir Jacopo is probably what I would say is the number 1 sandblast company, with Il Ceppo being right behind them. The sandblasts for those companies are stellar.
Yeah, and one of the other things I like about the Sandblast is that he doesn't try to force the ring grain up the shank counter to the bowl. He actually carries the Sandblast up the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And the fitting between the stem and the shank is really great. Ooh, as is that drilling.
Yes.
That is gorgeous.
Their drilling is spot on every time.
Drilling in the stem and in the shank is one of those details that we talk about.
So on my sandblast, let's see here, my number 1 sandblast, because his grading system works very, very cohesively and logically. Sandblasts are number 1, smooths are number 7, and rustics are number 9.
Number 9.
So as we can all see, that makes perfect sense. What we have here is the Il Ceppo number 1 sandblast, but this one uses a more natural stain. Joe's has kind of a reddish brown stain that I don't think there's quite a name for, but one of the things that it does with sandblast is it makes the ring grain accentuate more because there's more contrast. Mm-hmm. In this natural look, you don't necessarily get that sort of high contrast, but the ring grain is prominent enough that it kind of looks like waves kind of crashing up the pipe. It's real pretty. And this shape is, kind of a bent Dublin beveled top. Very nice. Obviously it'll darken. And he's got a lovely little sterling silver shank piece right here. And then, as Joe's... Ow, you are right, man. Mm-hmm. The consistency in this drilling, I have no doubt if I were to look at what Joe's is over there, or the other 2 that I'm going to look at, it's just perfect. You can see where they beveled the inside of the tenon in order to give it a much more smooth intake for the smoke. And not only that, but I can tell where they use the tapered bits going down. It's perfectly wide open right here at the mouthpiece where the button is. It's just really well done. And I can almost guarantee that that's going to be congruent on all of these. And that's that attention to detail that we're talking about.
That's that attention to detail.
So let's check out your next one.
All right, the next one is fairly predictable for me. It's a bit that's City in Ireland. It's a bit Dublin.
You mean it looks very similar to this? I should do a side-by-side of these because the attention to detail, these look almost exactly the same.
Now, this smooth pipe has a really dark, high contrast stain on it, which brings out beautiful straight grain. It's nice, it's tight. That's going to help it burn a little cooler and just generally look fantastic. Even the fit between the stem and the shank is almost unnoticeable.
You know what I think would be a good thing to talk about? Because we're going to talk about how great the drilling is on all of these. We're going to talk about how great the grain is. I want to talk about some of the nuances to the shape there.
Okay, yeah, he's got a little bit of a backward cant, and there's a little bit of a slope to the top of the bowl there, and it creates a really neat, consistent visual line between the top of the bowl and the stem. Now, if I do have one complaint, saddle stem.
That's an aesthetic choice.
It is.
So one thing I noticed about this pipe as you were holding it up, what do you think about that length of shank compared to length of bowl?
Dead on.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing when you're doing like a billiard or a Dublin or something like that, you want the length of the shank to be the same as the height of the bowl. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people aren't like super pipe connoisseurs, right? You see that and you go, oh man, that looks really nice, and it doesn't register in your head. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the main reasons, because everything is done so exacting and so perfect that you don't notice it. It's like, you know, the perfect piece of music you would never remember the name of because it would just flow so evenly into your mind, there would be nothing that stuck out about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a key eye there. The proportions, angle and length, all of that plays into how good you think a pipe looks, whether, like you say, whether we're aware of it or not.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here. On my number 4 smooth, right after number 1 Sandblast, I went with a typical straight apple. Now, you may be thinking I went with this pipe because I like straight pipes, and you'd be mostly right. But there's a little another aspect to this that I like, and it's just a little bit of a flair. So obviously on this apple you have absolutely perfect straight grain. Yawn, we get it, you're good at your wood. But so if we pay attention to the shank, you have a small forward cant, which I think is important on straight pipes. And secondly, he has this wonderful bevel that goes into it, but it's a darker stain than the natural blonde that's on the outside. And obviously bare bowl, because these are good pipes. Is that one not a bare bowl?
Not a bare bowl.
Weird.
No.
Hold on. Okay, so this one's bare and this one's bare. All of yours are coated?
All of mine are coated.
Why? Another thing that's really cool about this pipe that you don't see very often for pipe carvers, that stem is so dead on, there's no visible space between the tenon and the shank. Yeah. And, you know, a nice little silver band there again. But just another really solid, amazingly designed pipe that's so well designed, it's subtle in its beauty. And I think that's so cool.
Alright, my last one is going to be the Rusticated. So that's a number 9.
Yeah, 1479.
Yeah.
That's how the numbers go on the numbers chart, Joe. You think you're so superior with your college learning, but we all know numbers have always been 1479.
I mean...
2 doesn't exist, Joe.
So, one of the nice things about his rustication is that he put a little bit more craggy cut on the bowl for the rustication, so you can definitely see and feel a difference between the Rusticated and the Sandblast.
Yeah, I don't like it when pipe carvers make it like, is this a Sandblast? Like, you have to like really look for the ring grain instead of like, you know, I've got Sea Rock and Old Antiquary where you're like, okay, those are 2 very different things.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think they should. If you're going to produce 2 different kinds of pipes with rustication and sandblast, there should be
make them different.
Yeah, a little shorter of a bowl, a little more stocky of a bowl, a little more rounded.
Squat apple.
Squat apple. There you go. Chubby shank, and again, you know, the proportions there are on point. I like the silver band he put on it. Adds a little bit of contrast between the dark stain of the rustication and the what kind of stem?
Acrylic.
The tapered stem.
Okay, I agree. Tapered does look better. One thing that we do need to point out, though, that we haven't pointed out yet, is that unlike most high-end Italian pipes, these don't use vulcanite. They do use acrylic stems. And there is a boon to that. I know a lot of people think that vulcanite is the only way to do it, but acrylic is harder sure, it has a tendency to break, but if you grip it too hard, because the harder a material, the more brittle it becomes. We know how that works. But acrylics are easier to make look new again, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of boons to acrylic.
They're easier to keep clean, and if you're a clincher, like I'm a clincher, I've only bitten through one pipe, and it was a vulcanite stem.
Yeah.
It just doesn't hold up.
It's softer and it adheres to your teeth better, but I think they oxidize worse, and I think that the durability is a bit of an issue with them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm clenching my pipe right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it.
I have to use a rubber bit because it's a vulcanite stem, and I've already come dangerously close to biting through this stem.
Yeah.
So my last one is a number 4 smooth. I think this one's a different delineation because of the plateau top. So, because it goes 1, 4, 7, 9, Joe.
Yeah, no, we've established your...
How old's your daughter, Joe?
You're 2.
4 is what she is.
No, I haven't made it that far yet, buddy.
You and your stupid fancy number system. Hurry up and join metric like the rest of us.
I don't necessarily think that, you know what? You're right. Absolutely, buddy.
So it's a smaller pipe, but yet somehow they still manage to do a decently sized bowl. I mean, it gets down to halfway up my index finger. And it also has some thicker walls, but it used this cool high contrast stain where you have the yellow in it. Perfectly beautiful. Small forward cant. The plateau, this uses a type of plateau that I'm a big fan of because there's different types of plateau. You have the spiky one that this has where it's almost like needles that come all the way up. And then you have the more subdued one where it comes up, but it looks like they kind of sanded the top. They didn't, but that's kind of what it looks like. And that has its own merits as well, and I like it a lot. All right, so that's, we've shown all of our Il Ceppos here.
Yep.
We can do our normal grading system,
Sure.
But let's be honest, I don't think we even need to individually grade each section of these because it's so consistent. I mean, this is a 4-star pipe. I mean, this is just a top 4.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as the details go, the drilling, the shapes, the appearance, the look, the aesthetics, you're not going to find a better pipe than these Il Ceppos. You're just not.
Yeah, these are overall just a 4. If I had any complaint, and I mean any complaint, it's that I guess the shapes aren't super imaginative, but the shapes are perfect for what they are. It's just they don't branch out into exciting shapes, and that's fine. It's not what they're about.
Not enough bent stems.
Well, there was probably...
Look, man, you said we were looking for something. I found something.
So yeah, that's it. Check them out on our website under the Italian pipe section.
Yep.
The Il Ceppos, we have a very large stock of them, and they're phenomenal pipes. Like I said, everybody who ever gets one always gets another.
Yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed our review of Il Ceppo pipes, and we look forward to seeing you next time.